Here's the problem though. I want to make sure that we're not too hot. Is that too hot? Okay. How about on the socials? Still no sound on the socials. Okay. Okay, so it's just going to take a minute. I had to switch. All right, I had to switch mics. So bear with 1 second here. There's some sound. Okay, so there's some sound, but it sounds a little hot. Okay. Let's see here. Properties. Switch to that. How does that? Does that sound okay? Test, 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 test. Should be a little bit better. I've switched over. I got the volume all the way up, and it's not hot. Okay, so let me turn this all the way up. How about that? Is that better? Test, 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 test. Gold is still melting down. That sounds better. What was TikTok? Yep. All right, cool. There we go. How about that? Test, test. There we go. Very nice, very nice. Okay. YouTube is a little quiet. I'm not sure how I can adjust YouTube specifically. Let me check here. White noise. You're getting white noise. Got all the mics turned off except for this one. Let's see here. Turn up mic volume. How about that? Is that better? TikTok seems to be a bit hot. YouTube seems to be a bit low. Yeah, there's a buzz, yeah. Bear with here. So if there's a buzz, let me do this real quick. Try that. How's that? Does that help any? With the buzz, looking to fix the buzz. All right, very good. How are we doing on volume on TikTok and YouTube now? Perfect on TikTok. No, I've got the filter on for that, and I need to hone that in. Okay, so better. Perfect on me now. Okay, very good, very good. All right. Well, let me know if there's any other issues. Welcome everyone to American Dream Trading's public outreach for futures training and, in coach's words, edumacation. We are looking at futures, commodities and tickers, gold, indices, softs, piggies, all kinds of good things that we can trade in our futures group. We here at American Dream Trading and anyone involved with American Dream Trading are not financial, tax, or investment advisors and cannot give you any of that information, period, end of stop. That's what's he saying? You could be louder. I'm 100% volume. All right. I've got other folks that are saying volume's okay. Let's turn this up a little bit and see how we go. My mic is right next to me, so if this gets a little hot, let me know. How's that sound for you, Coach? Start yelling. All right, so do we have, that should be taking care of all that. There we go. I know, I'm trying to turn that off. That's better. Okay. Let's do this. Now you can't hear. All right. Well, today we had a really beautiful day. The filter for the clunking. Oh, yeah, very good. Okay, good. So today we had a beautiful day in the market. Everyone making a ton of money. Beautiful moves in gold and the indices today. We are in here with our crew, our futures group. Right now we are running specials on all of our memberships, our 7-day premium, 7-day crypto, and 7-day futures, all trials free. And after the 7 days, they renew at their original monthly subscription prices. We also have our VIP 12 months on sale right now. With that, you get 12 months of VIP Gold. We also have our Diamond memberships still on sale for $5K right now until the end of the month. We do have some Black Friday sales coming up. You're going to want to get a hold of those and stay tuned for what those are going to shake out to be. Outside of that, we do have Futures annual membership with Futures VIP for free as the add-on there. Outside of that, we've got a tremendous amount of value in ADT. If you're not in here as a free member already, just kind of poking around, you're missing a ton of great data, information and videos. We have over 2,000 videos on our YouTube available for you right now. You can go over there and start watching those. Once you do come into the community, let us know that you're here. Say something. We always have moderators hanging around even at all hours of the morning and evening. There's usually somebody bumping around. We've got our crypto 7-day trial membership as well, and those guys are doing some pretty incredible things over in the crypto group. Chris and Bucko teaching everyone how to trade crypto with leverage safely using ADT's principles and our training ideology coaches, techniques, and strategies. We use a 2-minute EWO, and our basic scalp strategy is break and hold of the 9. Right now, what we're looking for here out of our group is some questions. Anyone in our YouTube, TikTok, or Zoom group got anything running? Anything you want to talk about? Right now, we've got gold pulling and the indices pulling. Taking a look at gold right now, we've been in a 2-minute EWO on gold. It was a bit of a rocky start on this particular one. I'll turn on coaches indicators here. We can see. Right now we're in the counter trend EWO to the downside. Our EWO on this particular one started way up here in the clouds. Not the greatest of starts on this particular one being the second candle, but what we train our group to do is make assessments. So before entering blindly, we want to make sure we're looking around at the neighborhood. We want to make sure that we're all of our indicators are above us. So the entry here would have been rather precarious, and what we're looking for is a clean break and hold of the 9 and all of this structure here. So what I'd be looking for in this entry, because volume was so low all the way through this move, I'd be looking for a clean break and hold. Right here would be my entry, and we'd be riding this thing all the way down currently. Anybody in the Zoom have any questions about that? No? Good. Must be trading it. NQ, okay. Yeah. we're also at the bottom of the trend, coach's trend channel, right? So you're absolutely correct. If we look to the left, what do we see? Yeah, you've got a double bottom here, and you've got all of that traffic right there, right? So from that double bottom, what I'd be looking for here is a really nice support bounce, but you also have all of this that we had to chew through to get to this double bottom, right? So as we come down through this area, what we're looking for is for it to find some level of support out of that. And if we can't find it there, then where do we look? Where's your next level of support? Mm-hmm. 24,680. Way down here. You do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I'd be looking for support way before that action is right here. Just in recent history, okay? Just looking at recent history. We can go back and look at a higher time frame analysis too. But as we break down through this area, if we don't get any support off of this double bottom bounce here, I'd be looking for the last time that we actually had a true support bounce, which would be right here. Can you see that? So what I'd be looking for is right down through here. I don't need two lines, but that's our next natural line of support, right? You might have some chopping around in through here where we had this rejection. I'd be looking for support there, but right here is where I'd be looking for my largest support bounce before we get all the way down to the bottom, down here. Knowing that you're going to have some consolidation in through here as well, right? Before you get there. So it's got to chop through all of this before it gets to that double bottom. So taking a look at where we're at now, that's starting to make some sense. Turn coach's indicators back on. And now you've got your support area. Where we come up, we're retesting the 9. Now, are we going to look for longs in this particular area? No, sir. You bet, right? And look at this move to the downside on NQ. We've had a nice healthy pull to the downside, broken double bottom, broke this consolidation zone that we challenged before. Now this overall move, if we look at the overall move, what am I looking at for a continuation to the downside? What do you want to see? Yeah, we want to break and hold. Exactly. Break and hold. We want to break this bottom and start chewing into the next area that we identified as a potential bounce area, right? Or slow down. Now, the overall action that we've had today on NQ has been to the downside. So if we look at our overall move from about, let's see, that's Monday. Here's, yeah, at 10 o'clock this morning, we hit our high, right? So right here. And it's been kind of a chop all the way down. We recovered a little bit and then came all the way back down at noon. We've been in this downtrend the whole way. So looking at our overall price action, do you feel like we're on a key level for breakage right now? Zooming out. Right? Look at this thing right here. Yeah, exactly. So I'd be looking at this area right here. Oops, let's turn that back off. Not that we already didn't chart it, but I'd be looking at this line as my demarcation. If I break this level to the downside, I am now handily coming down here to visit this stuff, right? And you can, All right, let's see what's going on in the YouTubes here. Thank you, Miranda. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard, everybody. J-Dog, good to see you out there. Okay, does anyone have any questions or anything you'd like to look at? Any trades that you've done today that we want to run through with you? Please let us know. Coming over to the ticky-tock. Look at when you share music. See, awesome live. Okay, so how we doing over on TikTok? Everyone hear me okay? Can everyone hear the YouTube or the Zoom folks okay? Shorted the cues today, Fishy. Nice work, dude. Would have been a good short. I didn't myself do any live trades today, but I did take a few NQ trades off of key areas and was able to scalp about 1,300 bucks. So that was nice. That was a good day. That's a good point, Christine. I did not introduce myself. My name is Doug. I'm a moderator with ADT. I focus mainly on futures, but we do everything from cash to stocks, options, crypto, and futures. We also have other investment vehicles that we train our membership to through our mentorship program. If you're not part of the mentorship program or don't have access to it, that would be a phenomenal thing for you to do, to take your winnings and actually get the money working for you. Coach has all kinds of different strategies that we deploy here in our community. All right, take a look. Gold is actually on a nice bounce. Let's take a look at gold real quick. All right, so resident gold traders, where are we at? Open your mics. All right, stick in your trade. Coming up to a critical level here on gold. Zooming out, you know that you're going to run into some difficulty right here at 40.65.8 or 40.66. Why is that? Well, we're coming up into an area where we had a relative low. This is going to act like support and resistance as we come up and revisit that particular area. So what I'd be looking for here in this particular scenario is the same thing that we just got done talking about. I want to break and hold above this area right here. So 40.67.5, 40.65.8. We need to get up into this area, have good closure, and break and hold through the top of that zone at 40.67.5. If we cannot do that, then we're likely going to be coming right back down and challenging this area here at 40.62.5. That would be our first area of support. And the reason for that is as we left that area, we rechecked. That was a key level to break. We rechecked with this particular candle, got a nice push out of that, and now challenging this small bit of consolidation that we had on the way down through that same area. So on the way back up, it's going to act like support and resistance, and we want to make sure we break through that with some gusto. We've got over here on the L2, we've got 40.66.8. Now that gets us squarely into this area, and we get a good close up here at 40.66.8. That's right here at the midline. Gets us right above that top, making a new high. That would be a good move to show strength to the upside, but however, we are not seeing that strength and are getting a seller's wick and a body closure below that area. This is the 2 minute. I can swap over to the 1 minute and show you the same thing and how it's struggling to break through that key level. Now, if we find support and we break into that key level, that 40.66.8 that showed up on the L2 will likely show up again unless they've moved it. But right now, what we're looking for is support. If we're going to be looking at the L2 for support, some of the areas of support, we're looking for large contract values, so 40.63.5. There's 7 contracts sitting there. 40.63.5, it bounced at 40.63.8. So the way that we use the L2 is to try and determine where these limit orders are sitting and where we might potentially find some support. On the bid side of this, the green side of this, is where we want to find our support level, and right now we're looking at 40.63.2. Good level of support there. Let's see, there it is right there again. Now we've got more support below that at 40.63. So as this continues to move down, price action will try and find support both through structure and through the limit orders that we're seeing through the L2. So we can use the L2 to try and figure out where the bottom is and where we can look for a support bounce. Here at ADT, we do not guess bottom ever. We wait for it to settle and then we take trades from there. What I'm looking for out of this particular bounce at 40.63 is this spot right here. 40.63 is the bottom of that, and 40.63.7 is the top. So where we were looking for our support, where these lines are coming in, 40.63.2, 40.63.4, 0.5, so on and so forth, that's all right in this support zone right here. Looking for a nice bounce out of that. Now, once we get our bounce, we're looking for a confirmation candle to the upside to be able to take that trade as a long. Beautiful start to that candle, but no gumption to the upside. Still pulling. See coach's indicators on here, see how we're doing. And there we are. Now, is this necessarily going to pull back towards us? Trend is down. Do not fight the trend. And right now the 2 minute trend is relatively flat. So if I'm looking at overall move, we've got a great break and hold of this structure right here to the downside. And now we're starting to see 40.61.6 show up on the L2, which tells me that we want to pull down further. If we're starting to see 40.60s, that brings us all the way down to this area here that I'd be looking for support. This is my next area of support right in through here. Okay. No member sound. Thanks, Mark. So no member sound through TikTok. We did have member sound through YouTube though, didn't we? Let's see. Yeah. Go ahead and keep talking. Yeah, I can hear you through TikTok. No, I couldn't. Okay, sound is good for me on YouTube. Really don't want to play you guys through my speakers. Ah, crumbs. All right. Let's see here. Can I? Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. All right, let's pop over to OBS here. Still pulling on gold. Now here is where I'd be looking for some support. This is a double bottom, micro double bottom, but nonetheless, still a double bottom, and I'm looking for it to bounce somewhere along in here, which would be right at the bottom of our trend channel. So if we break and hold below this, then we're going lower, which gets us down here. And that's a big wick. So what were we looking for here? Support maybe here and here. Beautiful candle to the downside. We've got an absolute 2-candle ripper on gold here. 4057.1 showing up. 57.1. That gets us to the bottom of that. Oh yeah, we're down. We're breaking double bottom if it admits that. So 4058 current support at 10. Okay, 4057.5. I'd be looking for this to breathe back into this candle just a little bit and continue to pull. I want to see the breathe, and there's the pull. I need a hard break of this level, and we'll be in good shape. Oh, yeah, come on, get through there. Oh, this is glorious. Who's in this gold trade right now? Matt, are you in this thing? That would be a yes. Now look at where I called that level out, 4055.9. Where did it wick to? It just created a new 4-hour low. We're at the bottom of the trend channel, but we are still heavy. Look at the pull on this thing, 4055, 62 contracts at 4055. This thing is still melting down. 4053.2 is the double bottom from this large candle bounce that we had before. Oh, watch your mics, watch your mics. Let's see here, where are we going? 4055, 3. Come on, baby, keep pulling. Keep pulling. Not new, just hanging out. Covering for Mark. Good, good, good. How are you, sir? Let me have it. Uh-huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, first thing I would do is get a hold of customer support, and try and get them to explain to you why there's a delay. To my knowledge, I wasn't aware of any delays in cash settlement. So mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Do me a favor, make a ticket in our system, and let's ask Bruno. He's been busy, but he can help you work through it when he's got the time. Yep, yep. Yep. What you want to do. Well, the futures margin is a different margin account than your options margin is. Okay, so that's a different account altogether. Same requirements, same everything else that goes along. You have to answer the same questions, right? So, but I would, yeah. Gold is melting down completely here, ladies and gentlemen. We have an absolute beautiful pull to the downside. Our only stop to this thing now is way down here at, let's see, where are we at here? 32.6. This thing is an absolute monster pull. Blast through all of this consolidation without even thinking about it. And this is our lowest low, oops, in recent history here. Oh yeah. Take a look at the daily. Here we go, folks. This is a huge pull. So where can we possibly find support? Any of my gold traders on the daily looking at this thing yet? Mm-hmm. And why is that? Yeah, so here's something to consider. We went over this a little bit earlier, right? So we have our top. We broke, created a new top. I gotta do this on the desk. Sorry if this makes noise. Created a new top, but we've got a W pattern here. So this is our handle pull on the actual pattern. And the pattern to find support would typically be right here in the midline, right? So if this is going to come down and this is our support line, we could find support anywhere in this area, right? We've already chewed through the top of it. Crumbs, let me get rid of this. We already chewed through the top of that wick, right? Handily. So now we're challenging the body structure of this. And as we continue to work deeper, all we're going to be looking for is more line or more support at key structure, right? So where the bodies are resting. So my next major level of support would be 40.15, and then the natural double bottom that is that candle that got us in the move in the first place. Right, so if I look at the overall move on the daily, 6 days ago, we're almost recovering everything that we did last Monday. Basically, this is the week flip, right? So as we come around, we're looking for support in through all of this wick structure here. But if we don't find it, then we're definitely looking at double bottoms and lower support yet. Was there any news this afternoon that anybody on TV or playing around with their phone as to why there would be such a pull? I haven't seen or heard anything just yet. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're adjusting their evaluation on whether or not gold is well, based on availability, right? The price is likely to go down. Just the more there is, the less valuable it is, right? But if there's a change in sentiment with respect to that, that could drive pricing down even further. So if that is in fact the case, and they're sitting here on support, my question is this going to be support, or are we going to continue to pull down harder? And if that's the case, and we break down below 3,900, I mean, shoot, in basement, you're looking at basement prices now, right? Because we've been up here, you've got 37.5. There you go. He's done a nice job with charting that, and he is 100% confident in his levels. Oh, yeah. I haven't decided yet. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Arlo. Let's take a peek. Mm-hmm. Yep, and there's nothing slowing this thing down. I'm on the 15-minute right now, and we're already broke on that double bottom on the 15-minute. So I've got a 4-hour key level at 23.45.9. Which was historical, and that should be that's a natural double bottom right there as well. So we're breaking right now a micro double bottom that we came back. Yeah, this thing was a heck of a bounce off of that key level, and we came back with some gusto. So broke that, and now we're looking at this double bottom right here, which is actually could be considered a triple, but you also have this rejection top here. So this entire area, I'd be looking for it to break and hold below. So that would be from here to here. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Okay. Now we have a general rule that we tend to play around with here when we're scalping, 5 to 7 candle rule. 5 to 7 candles, we typically see some kind of a breathe back or slow down or something like that, but this thing is just an absolute juggernaut to the downside. Let's get the L2 up here for RTY as well. And we've got, all right, so we're starting to see some upticking. 23.50, we've got a fair amount of contracts at 23.50 to the upside. Looking like we might have, oh, this thing's moving quick. 23.48.7. 23.48.7 support. Well, 23.48.7 support. The midline of that double bottom and top that we snapped from earlier is right there at 23.49. So 23.48.2 was acting like support. But this thing is moving quick, and I wouldn't take a long until this thing actually showed me that it was going to slow down and stop. So shorts only at this particular juncture. Yeah, what a move. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that was on the 15-minute. So when we're actually there's your double bottom break, but to come back over here, this is what I was looking at. There's your natural double bottom. There's your support bounce off the midline, and then on the 4-hour, there's your rejection, right? So this area for me is extremely important. I want to break and hold below this, or I want to break and hold above for upside move. That's how I'd be looking at this one right now. And you can see that we're just kind of hanging around that natural bottom, right? So as this thing figures itself out, zoom in here, we can see that we're starting to see a little bit of pause. We've got our first green candle in some time. This is on the 2-minute. So that's 6 candles in there. Now what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this? Yep. Yep, 10 micros would be the same as 1 E mini. 1 E mini is 10 times the size of a micro. Also carries 10 times the size of the Hurt. So when we have new people coming in, we ask them to do not fund an account, only paper trade. Come in, take notes, learn, and spend the time developing your mechanics and honing your skills. Now, we have a big move to the downside, and we have an actual bottom. Don't know if it's going to be a real bottom yet, but we do have some slowing. So what am I looking for? I'd be looking for, yeah, exactly. I'd be looking for it to come up and test this area right here, the 21. If I get a good test and break and hold above that, then we're continuing with the longs, right? But right now, what we're really kind of expecting, since this is in it still a downtrend, is just a breathe back and a continuation to the downside. So there's our retest to the 9. We'll see if we get our pull. Actually, I want to snap a line real quick here. Bring this down here. That'll be my midpoint of that I want to keep an eye on. Which happens to be the top of that area. Funny that. Math. All right. Anyone still in gold? While we were over here farting around with RTY, are you totally excited about it? Yeah, you better be. You better be. Look at that thing go. There you go. Yep. Yep. And that was an absolute monster to try and get through. And we finally did. And now we're coming back down to revisit it. Let's see here. That's right. Load the boat, right? There you go. Well, I know you guys can't hear the Zoom folks, but we've got members in here that are just making money hand over fist based on what they're learning in here. So if you are at all at odds about joining the free 7-day trial, get the free 7-day trial. What are you waiting for? Just get in here and get it done. Stop messing around. You're missing way too much, I know. Hold on. I don't want. Yeah. Let's see. I'll turn. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Bear with 1 second, please.
Interesting how you can learn these things here at American Dream Trading, isn't it?
That's
It's
right.
just fantastic. 24 years doing it wrong, you guys. You new people that are listening, 24 years doing it wrong.
Yeah, don't do that. All right. Can everyone hear the members now?
Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear us?
All right.
Yep, we're good now.
The bottom of the trend. No, Doc Holliday. No, I do not expect that to be an uptrend. Not remotely. In any case, hitting the bottom of the trend line. We were talking about. We were talking about. No, go ahead. We were talking about RTY before. So just because this comes down to the bottom of the trend channel does not necessarily mean that you're going to get a bounce out of that. Okay. It's all based on volume and sentiment. You have to make sure that you understand where your key levels of resistance and support are. That then determines whether or not you're going to get a good bounce. Right now, all we're seeing is all selling. We're getting some breathe backs. We're getting a little bit of consolidation, but nothing here is saying that we are changing direction. Okay. We have consolidation here. We have consolidation here. Consolidation here. At neither one of these times did this break and try and challenge a double top previous. Okay. So with respect to that, what I'm looking for out of our key levels of support and resistance, is how much support am I going to get? Is it going to slow me down? Is this actually going to be where I get a bounce? So I'm looking for confirmation. And the only way that I'm going to get confirmation is if this candle actually comes up, tests this level, breaks, and holds to the upside. I need to see price action break and hold above this to challenge this double top to get back up into some kind of upward momentum. What's up, Nunya? How you doing, brother? Okay, so Doc Holliday, does that make sense? All right, let's see what else we got going on here. 40 people in the tickety talk. We got 3.2K in likes. Let's get that smashing going. Tap, tap, tap. It's working for rent. Look at that beard. Yeah, I know. You should have seen it this weekend. I actually got a haircut and shaved.
What?
I know.
And it's looking like that?
Yeah.
Holy, what was it looking like?
Well, it looked like I came out of a cave, to be fair.
Oh, nice. There
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have knee problems.
No, it didn't have anything to do with it. I just hate shaving.
That's funny.
Let's see here. What do we got?
If you want to see what Doug's trying to explain to you, if you haven't seen it before, some of the new folks, we don't trade on anything, you know, like regularly 30, 15s or 5 seconds. But if you turn to your 5-second chart, you can see how you can't guess at it. So you have to do what Doug's trying to share with us.
5 seconds. No, I never even. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
I don't
You
even
can see how it can rip you apart.
Nope.
When,
Nope. I don't go down there. Nope.
What's really interesting about it, Doug, is it shows you when the industrial guys come in and go bang, 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 and there's no way you can guess at it.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're quick scalping, I've heard coach scalping on the 30-second, and even sometimes if he's in super heavy, he might do a 15-second, but more times than not, we scalp on the 1 minute. We get good results that way, and you know as long as you've got good
Yes.
volume and good momentum, then it works out really well. I personally I trade NQ, and I've just started trading gold again, oddly enough, and I gave it a break for about 6 months. I needed it. But on those, I actually like scalping on the 2 minute personally. For NQ, it takes a lot of the noise out, and it allows me to stick around in a trade a little bit longer. If I'm going to do a longer trade or a longer scalp, I'll move it up. I'll actually scalp on the 5 minute. The 5 minute chart on RTY, you can see how clean that is, right?
Are you looking more at the candles when you're trying to say you're scalping on the 2 minute than looking at the EWO itself?
If I'm scalping, I'm not looking at the EWO. As a matter of fact, when I scalp, this is what my screen looks like.
The reason I asked is Coach was showing us on the 2 minute, he just looks at the EWO if he wants to go in that direction.
Not if he's scalping. If
When he's not scalping.
yeah. So if he's looking for EWO plays, yeah, he's on the 2 minute. And once you're in, if you want to get rid of some of the noise and some of the bouncing up and down, you can move up to the higher time frames. But in general, when we are 2 minute EWOing, we do not go lower. We only go higher in time frame. But looking at this one on the 5 minute, I mean, what a absolute beautiful. We had a great break of structure or break of key level up here on this 1 hour key zone or key level, broke double bottom, only slowed down, right? Here's the key. This came to a double bottom and only consolidated. It did not actually pull back and retest the key level, the 1 day key level that we broke through at 2383. So the fact that this thing stayed that strong to the downside should have given you a lot of confidence in the trade if you got in at the break and hold, or if you got in at the EWO signal, which was, come on.
Holy crap. Yeah, break and hold, pretty much.
Yep. There it is right there.
Yep, just right after it, a little bit after it.
So if you take the break and hold, EWO entry was right here. You making money on this thing yet?
You are in beautiful.
Right? There's absolutely no reason to get out of this trade. And if any of this garbage bothers you where it comes up and retests the 55, are you still below VWAP?
Yep.
Right? And look at where VWAP is in comparison to your position now. It's now breaking down below your position. So as long as you are, right, as long as price doesn't break above VWAP now, took a minute to get down here, but this thing could continue to go. You know, we're 5 minutes away from power hour, right? It's not unheard of that we've seen, like NQ did it, gosh, I want to say it was a few weeks ago, but NQ, we were in the dumpsters down here, and then the thing completely reverted and corrected all of the losses from that day and finished, I want to say it was 0.02% up for the day. All in power hour, all made up in power hour, but the whole day was down until that point. Here's a scenario where we're sitting and resting on a 4-hour key level. We're in a beautiful trade to the downside. You look at this thing on a higher time frame, 15-minute or a 5-minute, and there is absolutely zero reason to get out of this trade. We are so far away from the 9 on the 15-minute, and have now just broken a 4-hour key level. now testing the bottom of that zone, which is your natural double top or double bottom from September 2nd, right? So that was our opening salvo, 9 o'clock in the morning, September 2nd. That's where we dropped down. And now we're just now coming back to that area. Come on. There we go. So if we break that to the downside, I don't think there's anything in power hour that the market makers are going to do to bring that back. Look at gold as well. Right? Coming down to key level at 4,000. This was a key level for us for a long time. 4,000 to 440 to 480 or 4,100 actually. So within that $100 span in gold, we find that it tends to get trapped in consolidation, pulls to one side of that or the other. So here we are reaching back down to 4,000 again. And I'm not entirely sure that we're going to be able to hold that based on what I'm seeing here. So we could come all the way down. This is probably a good, that's a good level right there. We use that as our bottom for the moment. Come up here and take a look at what we're scooting into here. All right, so in this area, if anyone's looking at the screen, what do you see and what are you looking for support? Where would you look for support? On gold. Right now, I'm looking at 4012, and I remember 4016, 4012, 4013, right in there. It was a $10 range that this thing really struggled with for a while, and coming down and breaking down below 4012 now, we're going to continue to pull, and that was the top of our overall interest weeks and weeks ago. Breaking above 4012 and staying above 4012 was a huge deal. We had a hard time doing that for a while. Dev, yes, I can help. What do you need help with, sir? Where do you trade futures? You can trade futures in a number of different places. If you're outside of the United States, International Brokers is a broker that you could use. You could also use VPNs. I know Weeble's not available in some areas of the world, of the globe. So if you're interested in prop trading, you can pretty much access props from anywhere. However, for those of you that do prop trade and are interested in prop trading, please make sure that you get proper training before you engage in those. Otherwise, you're just going to be opening up your checkbook and donating money to them on a regular basis. If you do not know how to pick out good setups, you are not going to do well in the props. One of the things that props are super good at is allowing you to have more leverage than what you really need to trade with. And what I mean by that is on a 50K account, you can trade up to 5 E-minis and 50 micros. Well, if you look at what that would actually cost in a broker doing micros, that 50K account would be wholly inadequate because micros are right around outside of New York hours. That would be a $168,000 account you would need to trade 50 micros. Okay, so the problem with props is they don't give you the proper feel for account size and account sizing, trade sizing. So if you're trading on a 50K account in a prop firm, 1 to 3 micros max. You can do a lot of damage on 1 to 3 micros in the market. And if you ever decide to transition over to live cash trading, that will also translate into better trade management in live as well. 1 to 3 micros, manage your trade, get green, get out, and move on. All right, GC pulling here, 2340. We've got 71 contracts. If this breaks 2340, for instance, on this L2, as 2340 gets to the top of this L2 and those 70 contracts, if they get bought out, moved, or pulled, and you're at 86 now, you're going to see a hard flush. There's nothing holding this pricing back from dumping any further if that were to get pulled. I'm looking at RTY, aren't I? I got to get to gold. But RT, yeah, let's go to RTY. Are you?
What's that?
What was that?
I said we didn't go down to 2,000.
Yeah, we're already at 223. But yeah, now you get the right L2 up here. You ding dong. All right, so 2340. That's the magic number, 2340. If this breaks 2340, we are flushing hard. There's your EWO entry way up here at the top, and you are absolutely banking money at this point.
Yep.
Coach's indicators back on, see where we're
When you
sitting.
do like today, how do you guess at when to shed?
You don't guess, you follow the rules. Right? So, what are those rules? Well, let's take a peek at them.
Well, I usually look at the 1 minute to figure out when to shed.
Can't do that. Not for an EWO. If you're scalping, that's one thing, but EWO, 2 minute or higher. So, shed points on a 2 minute EWO. Let's talk about that. So here's your entry. Green line is your entry. Your first shed point for the members here in the Zoom is right here. Okay. This broke and held the 9. I wouldn't have shed here at this one. That doesn't give me enough evidence to really want to drop a contract there. Reason being is that it didn't break this top and it didn't break the 21. But I'm a little bit different EWO. I like to hang in a little bit more for my first sheds. So my first sheds really need to be relatively significant if I'm going to be shedding. I'm going to be shedding if it's going to be breaking the 21. So that'll be my first shed there. You could shed here, but this was really just consolidation. Consolidation. Consolidation, no shed.
And I forgot, we're in power hours, so you're not doing this as a new trader.
No. Power hour. If you're not already in a trade with a trade protected, you should not be trading during power hour. Coach's rules. You do not trade during the first half hour of the market open, New York open. You do not trade the last 8 minutes of power hour. Well, certainly the last 3. That is going to be the most volatile. But from what I remember and from what I've journaled, the last 10 minutes. So as soon as it hits 350, we usually see a relatively large volume increase. And volume is just volume. It doesn't mean it goes up or down. It's just volume. So it could do either, which is why it's so difficult to trade in power hour because of the volatility. So we broke key level, right? So what happens when we break a key level, everyone? Break, retest,
Yeah.
continuation.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in it off the 9.
Boy. So you took the short off the 9?
Yep. Right when I whipped the 9.
Good for you. How many people would be going long there?
And be truthful.
Don't lie.
I used to, and I'd
Yeah,
be in
me
too
too.
heavy and
I used to.
You just ruin your day, ruin your night, and ruin your relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the above.
Literally.
Oh, please don't do that.
Doug, it's got to be the low height. No, it isn't either. Don't you listen to that voice in your head.
I was going to type a bunch of stuff, but I don't want to deafen everyone. I'll get that figured out.
By the way, I didn't see your charting on YouTube.
No, you won't see it on YouTube. You'll only see it in the Zoom.
I'll see it. You draw the circles.
These?
Look at me. Look at me. It's delayed, but
Oh, it is showing up. Rats. Okay. Well, it is what it is. That's fine. Why, you oughta.
Like a mini cup and handle on the 32nd.
I suppose it would be. Here's your top, here's your top, here's your pull, but that's not really helpful for what we're looking at. I want to see this thing challenge the 9. If it's going to come up into an actual reversal, this thing needs to break and hold up here, challenge the 4-hour key level that we just broke, and come up here and start fighting with this 21. I want to get back up here and start challenging this. Because if it can't break and hold above this double top right up here, it will likely bounce around. Even if it comes up here, it'll likely fall back off.
Didn't you have spoke sooner? Look at that. I did just what you said.
Funny that, isn't it? Now, getting down to the nitty gritty, where am I looking for support bounce here? If it was going to be bouncing, I'd be looking for it right there. Okay, before it got down to the actual wick structure below that, but we are sitting on a doji. We did not have an engulfing candle to the upside, so this is not a 3-candle reversal scenario, but we are showing that we don't have any real decision making happening to pull this thing down lower or to push it higher. So what does that mean? Sideways movement, consolidation, right?
Fiddling.
Yep. So what I'd be looking for here again, I want to see a break and hold up into this zone again. That's a beautiful start to the candle. No wick to the bottom, hardly any. Lots of buying pressure. Let's go. Challenging this wick here. Want to get up into here and have a good hearty close. We can get a good hard close above the 9. That means we can look for more out of this trade. Now, if you're in on the bounce, stuck through the consolidation, good place to move your stop if you cared to would be right, just right below this key level here. Okay, so just below 2341 would be a good place for a stop if you got in on the bounce here. It's going to jump up 2-3 candles, but I'm afraid to get in on, yeah, well, I don't blame you, Hope. Until this shows you true upside potential, there's some key levels. This 4-hour key level, it's got to break back up through that and then challenge the overall consolidation that we had here at 2349, sorry. So if you were to scalp this on the 1 minute, we're right at the top of the regression channel. Well, what does that matter? Well, at the top of the regression channel, we typically see rejection, right? Well, we also have a 4-hour key level, top of the trend channel, double top scenario. This has got to have some volume to break through this. That's what we're looking for. We need the energy, right? Looking over at the L2, we're starting to see some topside interest happening. We've got 2347 starting to show up, right? So 2347 gets us up in here, which is right where I was talking about, right? Our consolidation. We need to break and hold above that and start playing around. Skip this off and start playing around with this again, right? So here we are at the bottom of that consolidation, challenging this wick top here. Need good volume. We've got a great volume candle previous. We had a small breathe back with good support off of 4-hour key level. Now let's see if we can continue the energy, right? We got 2348.5 to the upside, 2348.5 to the upside. That gets us just to this wick top here.
It bounced off the 9, or sorry, off the 21.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it's going to act like resistance on the way up, right? So between the 21 and that 4-hour key level, and now the 9 and the middle of the regression channel or the trend channel, we have a fair amount of support in through here. Rejection here, support here, right? So if I'm seeing price action slowing down, I want to make sure that it doesn't slow down to the point where it breaks below the 9, right? So our support that we're looking for here is going to be the 9, which is also the top of this wick that we just broke. Maybe hope, but we've got a long ways to go before we even get close to VWAP. Way up here. But this is what I'd be looking for right now. I want to see it get out of this. I want to get away from the middle of this, break and hold above 2349 to the upside, challenging this double top here. Okay, so there's our pull down to the 9. Are we going to find support here off of this, the bottom side of this zone? Remember, this was the double bottom that we snapped from earlier. So we've got support showing up at 2343. 2343.8 actually. Well, 2343 is the bottom. 2343.4 is the bottom of this area. 2343 even now, 2343.1, so that got pulled. Looking for deeper support. And here we go. Beautiful rejection off the 21 and a key level of support and resistance right there at 2347.8. Starting to see a bit of a hiccup here. Come on, pull. All right, now we're starting to slow down. There's our buyer's wick. Let's see where the body rests. There it is. You are welcome. Did you like that, Riley?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Did you like that?
Did I like what? Oh, that wick?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. Let's see what's in NQ doing. Ooh, NQ's messy.
Of course, I got a little distracted at work. Usually what happens.
That happens. Oh, this is an old chart. We are down in the dumps here in ES. I haven't charted this one in a while. Still works.
Yep. Still working. Still doing exactly what you wanted it to.
Well, that's the funny thing. Once you start to understand the charts and what you're looking for, it makes trade entry, trade planning, and trade exit execution a lot easier.
But look at that. Ain't that beautiful?
Gilbert, Mark is out this week on vacation. I do not look like my picture nugget. No, I don't. Y'all have been catfished. You're welcome.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing.
not even close.
You sound like you do look, if that makes sense. You sound like you do look like that person in the picture.
Well, it's 10 years old and a little bit of AI mixed in there, so
A little bit of AI,
a little bit of AI, a little bit of didn't
anti-aging.
yeah. Boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be nice? All right, all the indices are kind of playing around with, do I want to come back up or not? The answer is not. We're still to the downside. Here's something to consider when you guys are looking at your charts, right? So let's just take this overall move right here. Here's our downward move. Here's our low. All right, so from this candle right here, the overall move, 50%. Where did we find our support? Right down here off of this wick to the upside, right? So we've broken past 50% of the overall move from top to bottom here on this candle. If we break and hold above this, we've got continued momentum to the upside to challenge this stuff up here. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. If it comes up here and I don't break and hold, then I'm looking for further pull. Okay, this is the control candle in this area. And if we break and hold above the control candle, then we've got continued momentum to the upside. But look at where we're at.
All right, 21.
Not only are we at the 21, we're at the top of we're at the bottom of a consolidation pattern right here, and we got the trend channel right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're in scenarios like this, what are we looking for? Volume, right? We gotta have volume to get us breaking through these difficult levels. If you don't have the buyer stepping in and taking control, who's going to take back control?
Sellers.
Sellers. Look at where the 9 is in relative space to this key level. What do you notice? It's tight, right? And because the 9 is starting to curl up here, could we get a 921 cross? Sure, if there's enough volume. But the real challenge here, and what I'm seeing personally, is exactly what I told you about. We're going to come up into this area, which is going to be hard. It's consolidation, right? We're at the top of the trend channel. We got the 21 right here. The 9 is relatively close, and the price action to get there has been relatively weak. Right? Zero interest in bringing this thing to the top side until we break some of these key levels and actually start to see this trend flatten out. Right?
Right. With that kind of volume that it has right now, how it's dying down completely.
Mm-hmm. So I would not be looking for longs here.
Yeah.
Quite the contrary. I'd be looking for the setup to maybe come up here and tap this again, and then I'll take it off the bottom, take it off the top. Because at that point, the 9, if it continues to kind of consolidate up here, the 9 will kind of follow its way up, and now you got the 9 and 21 super tight together on resistance. Pull.
Yeah.
Load the boat, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good for sure.
And it might not even do that, right? it might just pull right from here, which would not be a terrible thing to have happen because we've already got our rejection off a key level, off of the
I was
21.
gonna say, look at those. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Look at those
Yeah.
silver wicks.
Absolutely. So what's happening on the L2 over here? 2343.8 to the downside. Just got pulled. 20. Now it's at 5. Here we are down to 2 now. Okay, so we're breaking that 50% of the overall move back to the downside. Our only thing in the way is this wick. Now we can challenge this again. All right? You've got the middle of the trend channel that's going to act like support. Well, if you look at where that's actually coming to fruition, oops, let's do a little bit straighter line. If you look at where that's actually going to land, you have a wick top, wick bottom, middle of the trend channel. So do you think 20 or 538 is going to be a key level to break through?
Absolutely.
Right? Well, we have support at 556, 555. There you go. There's, I saw 10, there it is, 10, 547, 546. So there's interest to pull this thing down. It's whether or not the buyers are going to let go of it. So here again, is this a breathe back, retest, or bounce? This is what we're waiting for.
Yeah. Possibly a retest.
Okay.
Who knows?
Can you scalp within here? Absolutely. You can scalp this all day long. Would I? No.
I was gonna say that's pretty hard.
No, because I've got a key level here. I got the middle of the trend channel. I've got a 50% of this. I've got this giant wick that I'm trying to bite through. And then I got to beat through all that too. No. No.
Unless it comes down, unless it comes, or sorry, goes up and wicks that 21, then
Yeah. So now we're talking about waiting for a better setup, right? So we want to come back up here, challenge support and resistance again, give us a little bit more space from the middle of the trend channel and this to where maybe now we can take a cleaner pull, right?
by the way, this is what everybody misses on Sunday nights.
That is correct. 4 hours of me sitting here droning
Yes.
on about structure.
Best 4 hours you can get.
Yeah.
Doug's the goat.
Now, I don't know about that. Now, what do we have here? I've got, take a look at NQ here real quick because I want to show you something. Oh, I'm already on the train,
Oh,
brother.
Oh yeah.
I'm on the train.
Oh yeah.
Choo choo. All right, so so check this out. We've got a nice rounded bottom, right? Price isn't really coming down. It's not challenging too much. We've got a relatively strong trend line to the upside as long as it maintains that. We are slowing. This is our slowing down to change direction. This is what we're looking for. Do we want to trade in any of this? No, not necessarily. Let it do its thing. Let it break structure, give you an opportunity to get into a 2-minute EWO. You can see here at the bottom on the EWO indicator how the volume bars are starting to taper off, right?
Yeah.
So as they start to taper off, that's where you start looking for color changes like over here, right? When this slowed down over here, remember we were looking for this. We had beautiful movement to the upside. We were looking for a color change and then it pulled again. What we're looking for is for this volume to peter off, these bars to get smaller and smaller and smaller, showing us that it's got weakness to the downside move. Right now, we're not really showing too much in the way of weakness other than just indecision. Because at the top of the trend channel, we could still get a pretty hard pull here. right? Can you explain how you identify volume? Well, we have a couple of different indicators for that, Torkin. The volume indicator that we use and TradingView for coaches indicators, we have a couple of different ways that we can look at volume. One, you can look at the size of the candles or the bars. But coaches indicator, the way it works down here is you have the total volume in blue, then you have buying volume and selling volume. When you have buying and selling volume, the way I've got mine set up is that whoever's in control of that particular candle, like just now it did a color change over to red, now the sellers are in control of this candle. So sometimes I'll watch this just to see where, what the volume, number of contracts and everything coming in are looking like. But for the most part, what I'm looking for in volume is relatively consistent candles across the board. I don't want to see things taper off to where we start to, the ATR gets too small. Like NQ right now on the 2 minute, the ATR is 116 ticks. That's pretty high. I like to trade NQ when it's in the 60 to 80 range. I will trade NQ when it's in the hundreds, but I will do super small position sizes, dynamically sizing for the volatility, making sure that my entries are absolutely spot on, because on 100 ticks on one micro contract, that's $50 per contract. Okay, that can go in your direction or not very quickly. Here's that scenario, Riley, that I was talking about, right? So we kind of metered our way over here, right, to the other side of the trend channel, kind of in an uptrend, but not really doing a whole lot of anything exciting. We get over here, we find our first rejection off of the top of it, and now we're 3 candles into red, can't break through it. So am I looking at a long here?
Oh man, I've been talking this whole time. No, God, no.
No. Absolutely not. The floor could completely fall out from underneath you and you would be in a world of hurt.
Yeah. But possibly a break and hold of the 9 here.
Yeah, exactly right.
You do still have a lot of...
Well, what's the trend?
Down. Way down.
Right? I mean, handily down.
Yeah.
So why on earth would I be looking for a long on the top of a resistive area, especially after everything that I just got done talking to you guys about? You got to break out of these consolidation areas and these tops. And you can't do that if you don't have the volume to the upside. So I would only be looking for shorts at this point because it hasn't given me any evidence to the contrary. You know, and what I mean by that is this. Okay, where we came in, you've got 2 scenarios here. One is an absolute monster bounce recovery. Okay. You see stuff like this happening where you got a great big buyer's wick and you got a shoulder on shoulder start with volume, break and hold to the 21.9. Yeah, you're in this thing. Who cares where VWAP is? It's way up here.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that for a while, right?
Yeah.
So when you're looking at NQ, a break and hold to the 9. So here's your break, here's your volume candle to the upside. That move alone up to VWAP, if you were so scared about where VWAP was, is 407 ticks. That's it's $203.50 per micro contract, minus fees. Okay. So when I hear people like, well, VWAP's right there, I said, VWAP's 2 football fields away. Get in the trade. Let VWAP deal with, let it all happen when you get there, because by the time you get there, you now have a beautiful place where you can protect your trade below key levels, right? So you could throw a stop right here. And you've got all of this room to now work on, right? So, is it important to know where VWAP and the 200 are? Of course it is. When you're playing support bounces like this, double bottoms, double tops, you can't be overly concerned about it if it's too far away, right? No, no, this is not Palm. And Palm does not wish, trust me. Palm's doing just fine on his own. Now, we have a beautiful recovery bounce here, and then we have our rounding and slowing. Okay, so as this came down to this double bottom, we did get a nice slowdown response, break and hold of the 9 again. Here's your potential entry on the break and the hold of the 9, but I'd wait personally until I got above the 55. Not that the 55 really plays a lot, but it does act like support and resistance from time to time, and I've gotten my face ripped off a few times getting in and not giving it the due justice that sometimes it deserves. But if you're scalping, and when I'm scalping, I typically don't have them on. I just go off of structure. So I'd be looking for a support bounce out of this area here, and once I got confirmation of that bounce, out of this zone, I'd be in on this candle right here. Now, that for me as an entry, if you turn the indicators back on, is just breaking the 9 under the 21. But with this kind of volume and this retest down here and no wick on the bottom candle, that is just too juicy of a scenario not to try and take advantage of. Because my stop for that entry right here, as it broke that key level, my stop would be down here. Or at minimum, here. In the zone, but below key levels. And then as this thing moves up, move the stop up. Now you're protected by the 21, and you let the thing go.
Something beautiful is happening here on F2K.
All right, let's go. We're still dinking around with that zone, aren't we?
Finding a little bit.
Yeah, so same scenario here. Okay, so we got our break and hold of the 9. We're further away. Remember our break and hold of the 9 over here. We were too close to the trend channel, or the midline of the trend channel. What I was talking about exactly is what happened. Let it come over to let it continue to percolate and come over and give yourself more space. Now you've got more space for a pull with less in the way.
Yeah.
Do you see how that makes sense? So wait for the entry.
Oh yeah, and there's that whole discussion, Doug, about not guessing at the low-hanging fruit and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't guess the bottom.
Don't guess bottom and don't guess top. Play your support and resistance. Understand that as it comes to certain areas, you're going to be looking for certain things to happen. If those things don't happen and it blasts right through it, say this thing blasts right through, it does not mean that this is invalidated. Not remotely close. It means that you had enough sellers in here to really want to yank this thing down. But when you break key level, what happens typically? Come back and retest it. We're seeing it right now. Broke the 4-hour key level, come back, and now we're retesting the snot out of it. Can't seem to break above it, right? Trade less, train more. Coach says it all the time, right?
When we talk like this, we feel like, oh, I gotta get it. Oh, that's the right way. Oh, and you don't have to. You can sit back and just wait for a better play if you're playing with big money, of course.
Even if you're playing with a small account, particularly if you're playing with a small account, you don't have room to dink around with small accounts. Your entries have got to be spot on. You got to have a good trade plan. You have to have a good exit plan. Most importantly, if you don't know, here's the thing, right? too many times I hear people come in to the lives, they're like, yeah, I got in at a great point, but I don't know when to get out. All right, well, that's what we train you to understand, what to look for, how to use the indicators if you're in a 2-minute EWO for shedding and getting out of a trade and so on and so forth. If you're not taking advantage of what we have to offer, not only just from the free membership, you can go to American Dream Trading, click on join the community. That'll get you into the Discord for free, no membership fees at all. Take a look, roll around in the environment for a while, come in, say hi, let someone know that you're here, and start the conversation, because you never know what you're going to run into.
Very true.
And too many times I've heard individuals come in and they say, well, you know, I just can't do this or I can't do that. And, well, it's the negative self-talk that's preventing you from doing anything, first of all. If you're sitting there on the fence, get off the fence. Make a decision, get involved, because the more you get involved here in our community, the more you learn. So we want to make sure that you've got what you need. But we're not going to hold your hand through the journey. You have to decide. You have to make that decision. All right, let's see here. Andre, Mark is on vacation today. How long have I been trading? I didn't, actually, that's kind of a funny thing to talk about. I didn't start trading until I joined ADT. Nice, James, thanks. Oh boy, let the memes begin.
That's awesome.
So I didn't start trading. I joined ADT December 6th, 2024. I did what everyone else does when they come in, like, yay, I'm super excited, made a couple of good trades, and then got my face ripped off. It happens. Now, luckily, I finished the year up. I think I was up $124 or something like that on micros, which was pretty good for me. But I did not do any live trades again, probably until February. I spent the rest of January becoming a mod and learning everything I could from all of the incredible moderators here at ADT. Palm, David, Richard, Ange when she was a mod, Mark as a lead in the futures group. He is an incredible trainer and an absolute inspiration. And I've taken his inspiration, and when I started trading live again, I went in small, did a few things. I did prop for a while. I still have 2 XFA accounts that I prop trade in, but I use those to build capital in my cash account so that I can go over there and trade with no rules, except for coaches' rules. So I utilize prop trading as a means to an end. I don't use it as a business model. Oh, thanks, Hope. There are some advantages to prop trading, but in my opinion, I will be using it to fund a cash account. And once I'm there, then I don't see a need for it. I'll trade on my own cash. But for those that are looking to build capital, be able to trade with more weight than you can on a cash account, prop firms are a way to be able to do that, but you can fall into some pretty nasty habits there. So again, get the training, join ADT, learn how to do this stuff, learn how to see the price action, and use the strategies that Coaches is developed over his 33 years in the stock market. Kind of hard to ignore. Shall I sell Ethereum? I can't tell you what to do there, Dobbs, but trade your trade. If you want to learn how to properly trade crypto, safely, come in and join the crypto membership. 7 days for free, easy peasy. Renews at the regular rate, which if memory serves for crypto is only $50 a month for the base crypto membership. So let's go through, I'll post some things over here on the YouTubes. Cannot post them on our TikTok page. TikTok does not like it when we post links there. But over here on YouTube, if you have access to YouTube, I'm putting in some promotional links for our current sales. Diamond Lifetime Membership is still on the board, everyone. And if you're not getting in that, you have until the end of the month to take advantage of it. Thanks, James. No. All right, ADT. All right, can hear the member now. Good. All right, over on the YouTubes, we've got 52 people over there. Let's get those likes and smash those screens. We're up to 5K. Let's see if we can get 10K today for my first day. RTY looking like a good bounce.
Doug, he talked to us about the double bottom at 23.55 on M2K when we were talking about that, looking back on a 1 hour chart.
There you go.
And he said once it breaks things like this, pay attention to how it can keep going. And if any of you missed that, that's only worth about 60 ticks.
Yeah. So trade out of that right now. From there, that's 24 ticks. That's a $12 trade on RTY. If you're in the micro, if you're in the E-mini, that's 120 bucks. Bang, bang. Oh, thanks, Evan.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Double bottom bounces. Woo-wee, those are fun. Now, doesn't mean it's going to last very long, right? Because why? We're in a downtrend. Stop fighting the trend. If you're going to do a quick scalp, do the quick scalp, come up to resistance, wait for it to slow down, and look for that continuation to the downside. Don't get hung up in trying to shoot the moon, right? You see slow down, you get in, you get green, you get out. Here's the reason why. Talk about this all the time with the group. Riley, what do you see if you're not in a trade? And your mic is open. You must be in a trade. All right, good. So what I'd be looking for here is, here's our double bottom. You could treat it as a cup, or you could treat it as an M pattern. But the M pattern resistance is right here. Now, why did I bring this up? Well, because if this was going to be a continuation bearish move to the downside, an M pattern is a bear pattern, right? So here's our handle. This would be our pull. So our handle retest really should be in here somewhere. We broke and held above that key level with volume. Okay. Next one here is the key level to 4 hour to get up past all of this. Our double top is the coup de grace. That's where we want to break and hold above. Okay, we are in power hour. We're at 3:45, 5 minutes to volume. And looky. Are we going to recover some losses today on this? What are we at for RTY on the downs? We're down 2% today on RTY. Down just over 1% on NQ. ES, same. YM, just about a 1.25 down. Each one of these getting a good support bounce out of its bottoms. This is the move we're waiting for. Good hardy support, decisive bounce, break key level, challenge double top. Now, in this particular scenario, what am I looking for here? Well, we just broke a key level, right? So I want this thing to come down and retest. How far of a retest? Well, that's pretty comfortable for me, but I will accept 50% of that candle move on the upside. But to show me strength to the upside, I want as little breathe back as possible into the body of this candle and a good volume push to the upside. Break that double top with some gusto. There we go. Where are we? All right, so we got 40, let's see, we got 664, 668. 9, there's some 70s. Good, come on baby, get up there. Our next challenge is going to be this guy right here. Now why is that? Well, it didn't meander its way down, right? It's not like this over here where you've got wick, 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 right? That was a relatively hard stop. Now, what does that mean to me? When I'm looking at this, I see a retest pull. Well, that retest, in order for it to stop there, must have been some kind of key level, right? If I go back in history, I'll bet you I'll find something that's worthy to discuss. But right now, looking at just price action, if all I had to go on was this is what I'd be looking at. I need a break and hold above that wick. And we've got two beautiful candles to the upside here to be able to do that with. Let's see where we at. 3 minutes to 350. Relatively weak start to the next candle, right? We didn't start on the shoulder of the previous. We really wanted to see it start on the shoulder. This didn't have a wick though, so we had a really strong close up into this area. And now as we broke previous double tops, we want to make sure that we come back and retest them, right? So here's my double top that I just broke out of, and there's my retest. So now what I'm looking for, again, is to close in here. It's okay that it's a red candle, not a big deal. Just a close. I want to stay up here, because if I break down below 50% of that candle, now I'm looking at weakness, and I really want to see some strength here for the continued upside move. Sorry about that. Okay, what do we got going on here? We've got, this one's hard to read. Its contract sizes are all relatively the same. I don't see any large levels of support here. Like on the L2, there aren't a lot of large like over here on the ask side, we just had some double digits pop up. I don't see any large contracts on the bid side to hold this thing up, so we could look for deeper pull here. The wick top that we just broke through would be a natural retest, but I don't know. We've got some sellers stepping in here. That's some big candles. Looking at the coach's indicators, there we are. We are outside the wire, ladies and gentlemen. We are outside the trend channel. So anything that happens outside here, we need volume to keep it outside here. Because in order to get this thing to start flattening out, we need price action to continue moving up, not sideways. In order for this trend channel to flatten out quicker, the more volume we have, the faster it'll flatten out and then potentially change. This is a crucial area right here. All right, see how we're starting to see some sellers stepping in there. Want to push. Come on, baby, fight it. Thank you, Scott. Thanks, Cricket. Appreciate you. Long Doing very well, thank you, sir. How are you, Scott? Good. Reading through the tickety talks and the YouTubes here, see if there's any questions.
No, right now I'm just listening to your invaluable advice.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Look at this rejection off of this key level. Just cannot break that double top right there. Or that wick top, rather. So, with respect to this, we have a great big seller's wick. Okay, so what am I looking at? I want a small breathe back for a continuation down, and I want to take charge and break down this wick here. I want to come down here with some gusto. We've already tested this once. I want to break it. Make a decision. Come down, find support, and then make another move at an upside potential. There we go. Still a lot of support back here. That's good. So we didn't get the hard pull. So we got a seller's wick and a buyer's wick. Who's going to win? I think we got to come down. Yeah, we got to come down. All right. Still no support showing up on the bid side of the L2. Nothing significant anyway. So with respect to that, there's nothing getting in the way of the continued pull to the downside, right? That's the way I look at that. Now I'm starting to see some double digits popping up. 620, 624. Come on. Yep. So this candle is going to tell the story whether or not this is going to be a bounce challenge or a breathe back pull. Beautiful no wick start to this candle, but there's just so much selling pressure up here. I'm not convinced we're going up. And it wicked right to the key zone that we just broke out of. So we break key level. Anyone? 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 Retest key level, continuation. Ooh, the buyers want it. What a fist fight on this candle. Holy smokes. This is what you don't get in retesting, by the way, or back testing. You don't get the candle breathing and the movement and everything that goes along with it. Beautiful start to that candle. Nice volume move to the upside. Here we go. Oh, I love this. 355. Here comes some volume. Yeah. One candle. Try that again. Come on. Get up there. Come on. You got 17 seconds. Come on, baby. No. What happens if price is outside of the channel? The channel acts like support and resistance for the most part. So when you're outside of the channel, you need more volume to keep moving that price to the top side. So JavaScript, the whole point of running through this one is the top of the trend channel right here acting like resistance. Well, it should act like resistance. Why? Because we're in a key level just from price action. So this adding confluence to the struggle that this price action is going to have getting through this area only should tell you that wait for the break and hold, right? Don't be messing around in any of this garbage. Wait for it to do what it's going to do, show you direction, break, hold, then you run. If you can do that, your entries will be a lot cleaner, and you'll have less stress in your overall trade. If you understand your support and resistance areas, for instance, down here, again, like I said earlier, this would have been a great entry here with a stop just below here, or at worst, major level 560, right? So you pick your entries where your stop loss doesn't necessarily have to break the bank if you get a knife drop and to protect it, right? So if you pick your entries properly and you have a good entry criteria, your stop losses are not going to be detrimental to your account. So if they get hit, it's not a huge deal, right? But you need to make sure you understand what those key levels are. And if you don't get the proper training, you're not going to understand what that is, and you're going to melt your account into nothingness. Trust me, I've seen it happen. And it's just going to struggle getting through here. And we are at the end of the day now, 3 minutes to 4 o'clock. We got another hour and 2 minutes in the actual trading day as far as futures goes. But at this time of the day, you really shouldn't be playing around in 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock anyway. But at this time of the day, it gets kind of hairy. We can see huge volume candle moves one way or the other, or we can just see volume peter out to nothing. JavaScript. We do have free memberships, yes. We have 7-day trials for both premium, which is stock options, futures, which is what you're seeing here, and crypto. At the end of the 7 days, the memberships will renew at their original price. For futures, it'll be $250 a month. But come in for the 7 days. Just get in here and get a feel for it. There's tons of videos that are in our Discord. We also have 2,000 plus videos on our YouTube channel that you can go and watch right now that go over pretty much what I'm talking about. EWO, break and hold of the 9. You've got everything on the stock option side, cashier puts, the wheel strategy, the whole works. So there's an absolute tremendous amount of information and learning material on our YouTube channel for ADT. Once you come into the Discord is free forever, always will be free. Go to AmericanDreamTrading.com and just click on join the community. If you join the community, that'll get you into our Discord. You'll also get a welcome letter and a packet that we implore you to please read and follow the directions. If you do that, a lot of the beginner questions that you may have will be answered very quickly, and then we can get to actually training you instead of working on the mechanics to get you in. Had a loss today and I'm devastated. Well, then I would suggest for you, Java, that you don't trade live money anymore. You paper trade only, and you get the education. Come in, get the training. If you're going to be losing money in the market, would you rather it be for education purposes or losing it to somebody else? I would rather see you spend your money in education so that you can get the proper training and not have that happen again. So join the community, come on into the Discord, and get involved. You won't regret it. All right, here we are on the 2 minute for YM. It's now 4 o'clock. We're going to wrap this thing up. But it does look like we are challenging that critical area at 46,688. Thank you all for joining us today here at American Dream Trading Futures Education. I will be here all week except for tomorrow. I do have other things I need to do tomorrow, but I will be here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mark will be back next week to save you all from the doldrums of looking at charts the way that I look at them. I hope you enjoyed yourself. and learned something. If you have any questions, again, join the community, get the free Discord, and get involved. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you later.